we got back. We were able to grab it, and once again, we won that race. Perfect
Oh,
teamwork by everybody.
okay. Lovely. Well, now we're live. Now we're live after that recap. Uh, shit. I think it's a little bit. I obviously didn't hit the button on time. Um, okay, so once again to everyone at home, welcome once again um, to Astral Agents and Boats. We are roleINC, and we're rolling through Wild Space. And we've already introduced ourselves, so we're going to charge on with things. The last thing that I'll remind everyone about is that after successfully beating Vena's crew to the logbook, there was a moment where the other navigator, McKevin, tried to use his magic to face step and snatch the book for victory, unfortunately misjudging the wildly different gravity fields surrounding the
He's not as good
wreckage.
as Ace.
Spun off into wild space, and
Yeah.
uh, the team decision was to let him go. Victory was guaranteed, and the return to the starting position was a mere formality as you outran a Githyanki squid-shaped ship, and upon the ending of the simulation, the door to the simulation chamber opened, sending a ripple of lightning throughout the chamber into the two tutors, Bosun Tarto and Sirth, but then spreading out through all the students present within the chamber. Saving throws were made, and what's everyone after those saving throws? What's your status? Update us on your status.
As mentioned in
Um,
my clever introduction, I'm crumpled on the ground in a heap.
with Axel's danger sense, he was able to sense the incoming blast before it hit him. He was able to like dodge somewhat out of the way and only took partial damage. He's pretty good. He's in pretty good shape.
The same with Ace. I was able to do a quick tumble barrel roll out of the way, but I did catch some of that lightning, and now I'm feeling a little singed, a little tingly, not in a great mood.
So during the flight, Estria had some issues with like a sparking in the back of the base of her skull. And there was a moment that Estria warned everyone that something was like genuinely wrong. From that point onwards, Estria's involvement in the flight was limited, as though she'd been left in a semi-dazed state. With the ending of the simulation, Estria was also caught in the lightning blast. However, she has withstood the worst of it, and although finds herself wounded, is conscious. Dr. Carey lies on the floor, as do Serth and Tarto. None of their bodies are moving. Time is obviously of the essence, so although we won't be rolling initiatives, so to speak, time is of the essence, so you have as many actions as you would have in a round to solve this before the accident becomes lethal.
Estria, coming to her senses, is probably going to look around and be like, "Well, this is a predicament." She's going to see the person she knows is capable of, like, healing and helping people on the ground unconscious, and she's just going to look at that and be like, "Mm-mm, mm-mm," and she's going to flap her wings and like sprint over to Dr. Carey and she's going to use Cure Wounds on her. For a healthy 5 health.
That will solve that. Ace and Axel still
Sweet.
see two of the tutors lying on the ground, clearly their lives in danger. Dr. Carey's coming too.
Axel's gonna see the bosun on the ground laying down as well. He's gonna run over there with his bandolier of potion. He's gonna pull one out and try to pour it in the bosun's mouth.
Tardo splutters, swallows down the magical liquid, and her eyes begin to clear, and she comes to with a groan of pain as she becomes aware now of the terrible damage that her body's obviously sustained. Burn marks visible all along her arms where she pushed the door open and took the worst of the impact all the way up to her shoulders. But she's alive.
While all that's happening, Ace, I will scramble to my feet, reach in my pack, pull another healing potion. That seemed to work out great for Bosun and Axel. So I'll, get to Sirth as quick as I can, pop the cork out, spit it, cradle his head, and be like, "Come on, you're too pretty to die," and pour the potion down his mouth.
As he also coughs and splutters back to consciousness, you see some of the terrible burn marks along one side of his beautiful face that has marred his smooth, flawless skin. You can imagine that might be permanent damage that Sirith has sustained. But he is alive, and the first thing he does is grab hold of your forearms and thank you. What was Dr. Carey feeling as the bolts hit and she lost consciousness and she also is infused with life-saving magic?
As she rises, I think it's just pure confusion, with a little bit of righteous outrage, because we were about to be congratulated for winning, and then we were horrendously in an attempted assassination. So they sort of stole our thunder. So she is shaking and confused and somewhat outraged, and she, what is happening? She sort of looks around. Is there an obvious danger to us right now? Is the lightning still sparking?
No, there are some sparks still rippling around the wall. They seem to be the dying remainder of energy trapped within ruins. But the danger seems over. You have survived what you just called an assassination attempt, and clearly this was. Go ahead.
We need to get out. We need to get out of here. Where's the? Is Mr. Wolf? Mr. Wolfman? Is he? Are we in danger? Do we need to defend again? He needed us last time. And she sort of staggers. She scrambles with all her weird four arms, bracing each other and standing up all awkwardly, ready for moving, ready for action.
Okay. Tarda also struggles to her feet and begins to try and help Sirth to his feet. The bosun looks from one of you to the other, sees that you're all still standing, and says, I'll have the medics come. I'll carry Sirth, but something's gone on here. There's certainly something to be found. Can I trust you to not let anyone else into this room while no officer is here? It could be a crime scene.
Of course. Wait, what happened? But what about McKevin? And Carrie wants to look over to where the other ship.
You would have to
would
kind
have
of
sat down on their helms.
Yeah, you could look out the door down the hall across the room to the other room if you wanted.
Oh, they had a separate room. All right, so we don't know. So the other team, are they? Are they all right?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Would you check on them? Sirth seems badly burned. We can't let his face be marred. It would be a tragedy.
Crime. Is this something that another team would have been capable of? Could this have been? Surely not. Nina. But I mean, is this something that happens in like a Spelljammer battle?
This is not something that happens. Please,
Okay.
do not let anyone come and interfere with things here, so we can find anything that might be left behind.
Got it.
But Dr. Carey, if you could attend to the other crew, that in case they need help, that they might be in danger. You're quite right.
Of course, presently.
With that,
Brush yourself
Tardo
off.
and Sirth kind of limp swiftly to try and activate a medical team to be brought here. What does each of you, as the room is left alone, the smell of smoke still within the room, what do each of you do while you're left alone in this potential crime scene?
Axel's gonna look at Dr. Carey and say, Do you want my help, or do you want me to guard the door?
I think I think we might need all the help we can get if they're dealing with the same thing we are. Yeah, no, we can put. Carrie sort of looks around desperately for her bug. She sort of looks. She's pats. You can see her pat her body all over. Her bug is there, but it's not. So if she summons it over, she says, "Well, I can station Mr. Creeper over here, and he can watch this door, and then I can have an eye here while we go somewhere else if we're worried about that."
Will your little bug be able to stop anyone from entering?
No, well, they might step on him and sort of goo will get over their feet. No, that we shouldn't rely on him for that. But at least we'll know when we need to come back.
I'm
I
pretty
tell
quick.
you what. Oh, you want to do that? I was going to say I could do that, Ace. But if you are offering,
I mean, yeah, I could make it between the two pretty fast, I think. But I mean, I could accompany Carrie while we leave somebody here with a little more muscle, maybe.
I was thinking I
I'll
could do
stay.
that because I'm a mixture of muscle and speed. And worst case scenario, I can, run away, get you guys, and keep myself alive a little bit.
Yeah.
Seems a fair middle ground to me.
Sounds good to me. Everyone's okay. We're all still breathing. Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing. And then Estria is going to use her second of 3 spell slots to cast Goodberry.
Nice.
And she's going to give Dr. Carey 3. And then she's going to give Carrie 4, and then the rest of us are each going to get 2.
What are you saying?
You see that Zemenius kind of like
Ah, shit, I forgot about him.
staggers backwards and kind of like sits down and says, I don't think I will be going anywhere. I will quite like to sit here for a moment or two.
Estria's going to kneel down to Zominius and say, tell you what, partner. And she's going to hand him one of her good berries and say, you need this in a pinch. Don't hesitate.
Ah, marvelous. I do love a good berry. And he puts it in his most convenient pocket.
Oh, those rich people always with their 20 pockets.
Well, you are all wearing the red onesies with the red cap, unfortunately, so you're all in the similar conditions. Okay, so Istria's running to go and check out the other room to inform you guys what's happening. Is that correct? Did I understand that correctly? Or are you going?
that's
You're
what we're
going.
doing, yeah.
Several of you are going to check it out.
Or wait, was I? I think I might have been staying at the door.
Oh, you're
with
staying at the
NC.
door
Yeah, I
as,
thought-
as a guard. Okay,
I
okay,
think
okay.
we
Yeah,
are
that's-
going.
And the other
he's
3 are
staying.
going to the other room. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, that
Okay.
makes more sense. Yeah.
All right. As you approach, there's murmuring. Does anyone have a perception of? You don't have perceptions of 15, do you? The passive.
No.
No.
We're all
It's
shit.
just
I
murmuring.
do.
And when you walk
Oh, no.
into the chamber, the door is actually ajar. You can see the burn marks along the door as well immediately. You can smell the smoke. But there is a conversation, and it has a tone of an uplifting tone, almost like relief and almost some backslapping that you can hear, kind of going on. But you stand in front of this ajar door. No one is aware that you're listening at the moment. Are you going in, or are you eavesdropping at the door?
Yeah, no, I think Carrie would at least sort of put her arms out and pull up. I
Yeah.
think she was sort of running just a step or two ahead. So
I would want to listen. Yeah, Ace is very.
Okay, make those perception checks then. See if you can hit that 15.
Ooh, that's a 22.
Beautiful.
Leaning in, up next to Carrie.
Out in the hallway, Axel's just kind of like looking back and forth, kind of like trying to keep watch over his guys and make sure no one's like coming up behind us or anything while they eavesdrop.
You do get the view of the last view down the hall as Sirth and Bosun Tardo kind of limping off as quickly as they can, arm in arm. So you do see them head off down to wherever the medical team might be. So you're not rolling win for Dr. Carey? You just stopped there, Ron?
sorry, I did the thing. No, I didn't realize you both were. I guess I might as well. The perception is that one. Nope. Oh boy, yep, I made things worse. There we go. I have rolled a 16 plus 0. That gets me over the threshold. Sweet.
Lovely. Okay.
You can see her hand on the door like she was. She knows the honest thing to do is press it in open, but she just keeps it there. She doesn't press it further. She just listens.
With that little gap in the door, there's enough angle to catch the words. You're not so bad. Four Eyes. You did good. Yeah, you did good, Four Eyes. Thanks, Four Eyes. Oh, that was amazing. Like, that was so close. Like, I saw my eyes, my life flash before my eyes. Please call me McKevin, not Four Eyes. Yeah, shut up, Four Eyes. You're still Four Eyes, but you did good. You did good. You saved us, and we forgive you for messing up on the mission. Like, you were going to pay really badly for that, but this was good. You did good. And you're hearing the literal kind of like pats on shoulders kind of going on.
Carrie has two hands over her heart and a third hand over her mouth. Just, it's so beautiful.
Do you want to go in, or is that enough? Have you heard enough?
She's trying to. If Ace shows any inclination to go in, she would try to hold him back.
I was about to say, yeah, I'm gonna bust in, but okay,
there's a scuffle then.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just give him a minute or two.
The next voice is Vina, who says, something clearly has gone wrong here. This can't be normal. We could literally have died. I swear. Like, I got burned. Like, not much, but I got burned. It hurts. I need a doctor or something, because did the machine, the artifact, like, blow up? What happened?
Oh, this is the time. And Carrie started pushing the door open. She makes a big show. Oh, I swear, are you all right? Our other room, it exploded.
Everyone spins
slide in.
around.
Yeah,
Deathly
slide in.
silence as they
Starts-
look at you guys. And I guess they notice that there are some visible wounds on you guys as well, and there's a little bit like of closing eyes, like trying to figure out what's going on while you're busting into the room.
Did the lightning come here? The
Venus
lightning.
said, you had lightning too? You had that as
Yeah.
well?
It exploded. Almost killed. I don't know if I should say. It almost killed all of us.
Oh, we could have died if it wasn't for Four Eyes. Like he went to open the door.
You mean McKevin? You mean McKevin?
Yeah.
Did you? That was a cool move, by the way. Did you see how I did that?
McKevin's like
Some
looking
stuff.
right at Ace, and he says with like a deadpan face, "I thought we were friends. You left me.
Yeah, we're friends. Well,
Friends,
no, I knew
friends-
you were capable.
Friends don't leave friends in wild space."
Oh, no, you're misunderstanding. I know how capable you are. It was a test of your abilities. We said we believed in you. I knew you'd get out of that. Easy for somebody like you
You let me
with all your magic.
die. That's not cool. And the
did
group
I?
kind of all look
I-
at McKevin, they're like, yeah, that's totally not cool. They all kind of like fold their arms and stick together like a gang.
But did you see how?
Time for a rap battle.
Did you see how our team, when I jumped out and when Axel jumped out, our team rallied and pulled us in? Where was your team?
Vena's like, we need to go and tell someone about this. We don't need to talk about what the team were doing. Okay,
Already on it. Already on it. We're already on it. Don't worry. Just catch your breaths.
They kind of look uncomfortable with your presence, and everyone just kind of goes quiet, staring uncomfortably at you guys.
Are there any other ways out or places where we may need to check if someone else has been zapped, or are these just the two big
At the
simulation
moment,
chambers?
there are 3 simulation rooms, but it was only the 2 of you currently, the 2 teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's no. Okay. Well, I am glad your team survived, and I compliment your performance in our simulation. Then Carrie will turn.
Yes. Congratulations on second place. If everyone here will go back to our own room.
Out in the hallway, Axel's kind of like waiting for them. When he comes back, he's like, "Are they okay? What happened?"
Well, Venus is still a jerk, but they're alive.
They came together as a team, and they're alive.
All right, let's go.
You have about 5 minutes of time before the medical team will arrive to tend to your wounds and patch you up. You are currently in the beginning of what would be effectively a short rest. Is there anything you want to do before the medical team arrive within the chamber where you are together?
No one gave us a grade.
Not currently, no.
They should keep records or something. We should be able to see how what grade we got.
Well, we won, and
Well, they said
come on, that's what
that
matters.
we should think that it wasn't. I mean, I know we're the winners, but that's not all that matters.
That's what they tell people, so the losers don't get upset.
I don't think I have anything of consequence I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think once everyone would have gone to check up on like the other team, Esther kind of would have like looked at the little bug thing and been like, "Squeal if anybody comes," and she's just gonna start investigating the room.
Okay.
You
can
get some weird
make
chittering
an
and rubbing
investigation
of
check or a perception
hands.
check.
Okay. Roll the perception. That is a medium 10.
The burn marks around the room all seem to stem from the door, making you think that the door, or whoever came through the door, was perhaps meant to be the recipient of the electrical charge that was sent out. As far as you have seen with the simulations, the ones who have always been opening, closing, coming in, coming out, ending, or starting simulations have been the tutors, the bosun and Sereth.
All right. As an action, I'm going to do a thing that comes with my class, which is the Horizon Walker Ranger, and that is to detect portal. As an action, you detect at third level, you gain the ability to magically sense the presence of a planar portal. As an action, you detect the distance and direction to the closest planar portal within 1 mile of you. You need to do a short or long rest to use it again.
Within 1 mile.
Yes.
When you activate that ability, it's an ability that you've used on other occasions. You've never felt the ripples of portal energy surrounding you from all directions, like you feel in this moment as you open yourself to that awareness. It is the strangest feeling. You can't detect a portal within a mile of you, but it's almost like within the edge of everything that you're detecting, as though there were thousands of portals surrounding you just on the edge of that. It is quite an uncanny feeling.
All right. I think at this point, Astria, would I be able to like kind of focus my attention to see if I can try and find the closest portal and see like how far away that might be?
Yes, there is.
I could do like a check.
There is a possibility to decipher. At the moment, the sensation is overwhelming, but let's see how you can, if you can chew through that with Arcana.
Okay. Come on, dice. 13 on the dice. Plus 0 is 13.
Yes, you think maybe within several miles there is one closer portal that seems to stand out. Not within the academy, but towards the city, towards the direction of the center of the city that you were able to spy when you flew into the Spelljammer. If you recall, and if I am not mistaken, you do remember seeing a portal in the center of the city where Spelljammers were like arriving and leaving through.
Yes, I believe. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Okay. All right. Esther is gonna kind of like go back to the door and check in the hallway, see if anyone like is there, and the bug hasn't just like not reacted or anything.
So everyone else has come back in the room and they've seen Estria kind of like poking around the door. Do you share any of your sensations with anyone else, or do you keep that to yourself?
I don't even know if she would know how to describe it, so she's just gonna keep it to herself.
Okay. So Estria is most of the poking around is around the door frame of the door, and it's noticeable that Estria is checking things out. Do Ace, Axel, or Dr. Carey make any comments, or does this change anything else you want to do before the medics arrive in the next 2 minutes?
No, I don't think so.
Nah, Axel will just post up outside.
Okay. So the medical crew arrives. Some of them head to the other chamber with Sirth. The rest stay with Tardo, who's accompanied by the autognome Mr. Blip, who comes into the simulation chamber and immediately, just as Estria had done, begins scanning everything. The medics come in and bandage the burns that you have suffered. And within about 10 minutes or so, Mr. Blip's investigations lead him to the door frame where Estria was checking things out. And little short gnome-sized fellow that he is, and Estria being the closest to the door, Mr. Blip says, "Do you see that shiny thing jammed in the door frame there, young bird?"
Do I see that?
When it's being pointed out to you, you do in fact see something metallic jammed into where the door joins, and it actually is the focal point, now that you notice it, of the rippling burned lines of electricity.
Well,
I
now
can't
that you
quite
mention it,
reach it myself. Could you fetch it for me?
I sure can, but I sure hope it ain't gonna discharge again. She's gonna reach up and kind of like poke it with like feathers, essentially, just to see like, hey, is this like live?
There is no spark.
Okay, and she's gonna take it off of whatever device is holding it onto the door frame and inspect it as she hands it over to Mr. Blip, just like a quick inspection.
Okay. Your quick inspection reveals a small metallic object, which was what was jammed into the door frame. Mr. Blip scowls. It's a funny thing to see, these kind of metallic eyebrows come down into a almost, humanoid, genuine, not construct expression that you can absolutely relate to. And he immediately just heads over to where Bosun Tardo is directing the medical team. And you hear Mr. Blip say, "Does this look familiar to you, Bosun Tardo?" Tardo takes the piece of metal and he says a name. Vokath. She says a name, sorry. "I should have suspected. It appears the Mercane's grudge against Mert has become a vendetta. The old wolf must be told." And she storms out of the room.
Did like my shocking malfunction thing cause any kind of potential memory to jiggle loose about that name?
Absolutely. Make a history check.
Okay. History, there it is. All right, here we go. That is a 6.
The name Vokath means nothing to you. There is an echo there of this word mentioned. It appears that the Mercane's grudge, and you're kind of banging it around going, Mercane. You think that might be some sort of organization, some type of trade organization, but it's not quite there. Again, there's something that the parts aren't connecting properly. It feels like that's something you would know, that you should know, but it's on the tip of your brain.
I see. Okay. Esther is gonna note all of that for later usage.
After you get patched up, you can go ahead and spend any hit dice that you want for a short rest.
That seems like a good idea.
What? Our wounds don't go away when they patched us?
The patching allows you to spend your hit dice. This is the process of the short rest. It's first aid as opposed to.
Oh, and then I get that, of course.
I'll stick with that.
Dr. Carey does have one level of exhaustion from his unconscious state.
No.
Do I know where to mark that? I figure I guess I write it down on a piece of paper.
That's probably best. We probably.
I'm also going to eat my good berry real quick.
Okay.
Sorry.
Mr. Blip's recommendation is you head back to your cadets' quarters and take it easy for the rest of the day. And he seems to be ushering everyone out of the room.
Mm-hmm. Esther is not going to resist and is just going to kind of casually walk out and say, "You all go ahead. I'm going to head over and do some training." And Esther is going to head towards... Is there like a library that she knows of?
The library that you saw was on the Spelljammer Nexus area, where you trained with the mini Spelljammers with Serth.
Okay.
You do see Serth hear his voice anyway, talking from down the hall with the other group of people. So perhaps it occurs to you that speaking to him might provide you access to the library that you walked past in the rooms that he seemed to be in charge of.
Yeah, I will do that. I'll approach Surf and say, "Excuse me, partner, but would you mind terribly if I did some light reading in the library?"
Oh, commendable. Of course not. Yes, certainly. The password of the day is Wuthers. One of my favorite authors. Yes, Wuthers. You probably have enjoyed some of his manuscripts on celestial alignment.
To be honest, I haven't partaken in his work. I more dabble in fiction, if you get my drift.
Oh, well, I can highly recommend Wuthers.
I will take that recommendation. Thank you. And with that, she's going to depart.
Okay, so you're headed to the Nexus. What's everyone else doing?
Axel's going to help Zoe back to the bunks. He's going to see he's still hurt and everything. He's going to help him back.
Upon reaching the bunk bed, he kind of hits the bed kind of hard, and you can see that his eyes are drooping and he quickly falls asleep.
He puts the blanket on him.
Aww.
Put it up.
It's just a tired little boy.
I would go back to the bugs too.
Yeah.
Just be kind of still shaking with excitement about everything that happened, but not really knowing what to do. So kind of bouncing around in there.
Okay. And where would Dr. Carey head?
Yeah, no, I'm staggering along behind. I'm still. You can see her sort of waiting if she wants to eat her good berry or not, but she's decided to save them. I'm going to be honest. I think Carrie was distracted. She follows the rest of the group, but partly it's because she's distracted by the gnome. She's never seen these sort of robotic things before, so when it was talking, she was sort of leaning in. She really wants to know as the gnome's eyebrows are moving up and down. Do they make little like 1980s robot like? Bzz, bzz, bzz? Can you hear the whirring sounds of the robot gnomes?
Yes, you can detect.
All right.
not only his eyebrows, but all of the other subtle movements do seem to be accompanied with cute little sounds like that.
So yeah, Carrie, she's leaning closer and closer and in and looking at him. She's sort of torn away as she's doing that.
Mr. Blip says, "Well, this is getting uncomfortable, isn't it?"
It's moving like that. I need to go.
What would Estria like to do as the mention of the word Wuthers gives you access to the library?
So when she mentions Wuthers to, I'm assuming the
librarian
or
on
the
duty. The librarian on duty is the first person that challenges Estria if they have an appointment.
I don't have an appointment necessarily, but I do believe the password of the day is Wuthers.
Research. Go ahead, young.
Thank you kindly. Tell me, could you point me in the direction of economics? I'm looking to brush up on my business sense.
Not a popular section within the library. We mostly deal with charts and navigation and star systems and realm space, wild space, the ether, portals, astral sea. Any of that of interest to you?
It could be. I'm perhaps looking for a list of trade organizations, if you might have that, perhaps.
Organizations, of course, because, yes, there are known organizations. Is there a organization in particular you seek?
No, I would just like a comprehensive list, if you happen to have that on hand.
In which realm in particular?
You know what? I may come back at some point, but for today, let's go with the wild space realm. See if there's anything out here.
Oh, okay. I see. Sure. Come with me. And
thank you.
She takes you to a section, and it's more like a log of known associations and political factions known to operate in a cohesive way within the different pockets of the astral sea and wild space. And you have that at your disposition. This should do you nicely.
Thank you kindly. So first thing she's going to look for is the word Mercane.
There is an entry for the Mercane. And there seems to be a sketch painted in watercolors, which depicts Spelljammer throne is painted there. And they seem to be, from what you can immediately gather from what's written in the book, an association of, or a guild of some sort that dedicates themselves to actually making the spell jamming helms. Seems to be their major business operation, although they do seem to have some other entries related to other creative enterprises of magical nature. And from one of the comments, you can see that they seem to be the major supplier of the agency's spelljamming thrones. So they seem to be an important business partner of the INC agency.
Interesting. She's going to continue to basically look and see, like, if there's any associations that these people might have with chaos.
There are some later marks of the last entry marks where there is some comments that seem to be frowning upon their neutrality in their business dealings.
Okay. Astral is going to make a mental note of that.
The comment seems to be, they always put money before morals.
Typical. Absolute typical.
Okay. With that information, Astral is going to kind of close that part and kind of glance around to see if there's anything quickly of note that she could just kind of peruse for a few minutes.
What kind of thing? It's a extensive library. Is there something of particular interest to her that she's seeking out? Being in this area of books, maybe more to do with organizations or political relationships of the library within different realms?
I'm actually going to go rogue and say, is there anything on like Spelljamming Throne production?
There is a small tome dedicated to Spelljamming Thrones. Make an investigation check for me as you try to read through that quickly.
All right. $13.
From what you can gather, the INC agency have been able to reproduce minor helms, but the ability to create major helms, which seem to allow spelljamming ships to move at even greater speeds with even greater maneuverability, seems to be a secret, a closely guarded secret of the Mercane.
Interesting.
And from what you can gather, there have been attempts to retrieve this information on the part of INC, but unsuccessful.
No surprise there. Okay. Yeah, Astral is just going to kind of like absent-mindedly like browse through some books to just like kill some time, basically. And then she's going to, walk out of, or put everything back where she found it, obviously, and then walk out, say thank you kindly to the librarian, and head on back to the quarters and see if anyone's awake at this point.
You arrive just as a messenger arrives back at the cadets' quarters, who signals to the four of you, kind of looks at Ximenius and, you're going to need to wake him up. Just meet me at the bar. And leaves the room. You know that there's like a social area within the cadets' quarters which is very loud and noisy and filled with rowdiness. And that seems to be where the person's who's this messenger of some sort seems to be indicating you should go.
Were they speaking to us all at once, or one of us?
They signaled to the four of you, looked at Ximenius asleep, and kind of said, "You need to wake him up."
Oh, I was taking a nap. All right. Shakes him. Oh well, I guess he's got his own fancy room, so I guess I have to tiptoe secretly into his sweet space. Get up!
I'll just run and jump on his bed. Sob! We get to go party. Come on. I want to be up for this.
Sluggishly complaining as an unrested noble only can. He will be dragged along with many complaints. Within the rowdy rec room, I guess you'd call it, you see the fellow who has signaled to you to come with him in a corner, sitting at a table with some juice glasses laid out around the table.
These are for us?
Yes, they are for you. But
All right.
I have a small bag here. There's a gold cap for each of you. Just drink, sit with me for a while. Don't take the caps now, but once you've left here, I need for you to head up to Mert's room, where he will be waiting for you. He wishes to speak to each of you directly, but does not want it known that you are speaking to him. So act natural, enjoy your drinks, and cheers!
Cheers. Look at my
Cheers,
glass.
partner.
Is this from Mert's special selection? Can I throw it back?
It's
Ah.
yeah. I'm not sure what juice that is.
This isn't liquor.
No, it's from one of the popular plums somewhere nearby. No,
It's
liquor, obviously possible.
tasty. It's tasty. I was expecting something else. Never mind.
Stone fruits
Yeah,
give me
Axel like
gas.
turned his nose up on it.
So,
Yeah, Axel will turn his nose up at night and just like not even drink it. He'll just like slide it away.
I was also asked on behalf of the bosun to give you your report card.
Ooh, hey!
He slides over a piece of card. That's what I'm officially doing here. And he hands a little bag. Whoever's closest to him, he kind of does it under the table so it can be done while it's looking like he's sliding the card out to hand you over the bag of the gold caps, which will get you into Mert's quarters. Who's taking the caps, taking charge of the sneaky handover?
I'd reach for the report card, so.
I feel like Astria, if she didn't notice Ace trying to do the sneaky bit, would try to do the sneaky bit herself.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check to see if anyone's noticing what's happening over at the table.
Can my eagerness to get validation serve as a distraction to give him advantage?
Absolutely.
Axel's just rolling his eyes at Dr. Carey.
Oh shit, I did that wrong. My bad.
One of those is
So
an 18.
it says we won, right?
So that would be 24.
24. Okay, lovely. You have it tucked away before anyone notices that anything's happening here other than a celebratory drink and your grades being given to you. You can read that the score is very good on the report card. The messenger says, I know that the bosun will want to speak to you about leaving behind your fellow INC agents.
I told you!
Your performance was perhaps one of the best we've seen in recent years for a crew as green as yours. Quite remarkable, really. But I think what you must understand is this is not a game, and lives might have been lost. Fellow agents' lives might have been lost if you had handled things like this in real life. So I hope in the future, as you progress with your studies, that rather than a competition, you see it as working together, shall we say, for a common goal. Whether there is rivalries or not between companies, we never leave anyone behind. Well, good talk. And the messenger stands up and leaves you to your own devices there at the table where you're drinking or not drinking your juice.
Once he's out of range and it's fairly clear that no one's like really paying attention to us anymore, I'm gonna start talking softly to the group and just mention basically what I found that these Mercane guys are basically the top manufacturers of the best quality spelljamming drives or thrones, and not only do they supply all of most of INC's stuff, but they may also play multiple sides with their sales, and they may or may not be trustworthy, to be honest, and there may be something to do with the wolf with them.
But we all agree Ink should be stealing things, right?
Well, I mean, if they are, trying to get an edge on someone who's a bit unscrupulous, maybe a bit of unscrupulousness could be acceptable. However, questionable it might be still.
What some people call stealing, others might call it's all perspective.
Hmm.
And some does seem to be kind of right. He wanted to see us. Well, maybe he has some angle on this.
I suppose we play it cool for now and not tell him anything that we know about this so far. And if I see an opportunity, I will bring it up. And I want each of you to pay close attention to him. I want to see if he has a tale of some sort. We need to know if we can trust this guy, if we're going to be working for him. Can I count on y'all?
Axel will give him a nod and a wink.
You can count on me.
So,
All right.
do want to make sure we know things.
All right, then. And with that, Esther is going to knock back her juice and say, stone fruits don't actually give me gas, and stand up.
Estria seems to be heading out of the rec room. Are you heading to Mert's room or somewhere else?
That was my plan, yeah. I'll mention that as well, saying like, y'all can come with me if you want. I'm gonna head up there.
Yeah, I'd follow.
Axel will follow too.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you head up towards the upper levels where you took the crate, you're confronted by the guards who demand you be wearing a gold cap to go any further back towards Mert's room. Within the bag, there were gold caps, which you could have donned, or you can now don.
I will now don them, and ideally pass them out if I haven't already.
Okay. At which, seeing that, they stand aside, like they weren't expecting you to have the caps quite clearly on their face, but they see the caps and don't question, and they move aside for you. Within Mert's room, he's kind of standing what would be off to the side near this 3D table that you never got a really good look at, kind of like a 3D topographic map, and he signals that you should come in, asks you to close the door behind you. And when you come to stand next to him, you can see that the topographical map looks like this incredible 3D map of what might be some world from a bird's eye view. There seem to be like little moving parts, like little tiny soldiers or things like horses or with pulling chariots, kind of like moving around the map and things like that. But he doesn't seem very interested in the map, although it is a curious spectacle. He thanks you and says, "I'm glad that you are well. Sorry that you were hurt or put in danger today. I'm afraid foul things are afoot. within the Academy. INC's enemies move against us. My associates believe that the recent chaotic events are related to a personal vendetta against me. I'm not so sure. I think that may be a smokescreen to cover something larger, something much more concerning. I cannot convey with enough gravity how private this conversation must remain. I'm going on a limb to trust the five of you. I actually asked for your files to be brought to me. Files detailing your selection. Files detailing the reason you were brought into the Corps, and files related to your transfer into your current jar. Curiously, these files were destroyed along with all recent recruit files in last night's fires down below. And he kind of dumps this hard, half-burned crate with, you can see all these burned papers completely unusable within them. This will take days, if not weeks, to repair, if it's even possible. You are officially a mystery. Yet...
Do you think this is intentional?
Yes. Yes, this is no accident.
I would have to agree.
Is there any other groups besides us that are as fresh as new?
Not as fresh as you. There are groups that are new, but none as fresh as you, and that is why I have asked you to come here for that very reason. Your freshness is the reason I'm gambling on you, that there's no way I am hoping that you can be involved in any way, shape, or form in these recent events. I cannot say the same for anyone else within the Academy, not even my most trusted advisors. This is quite the predicament. But while I hope you can help me unravel this web being spun about the Academy, I would like to ask you to tell me, as briefly as possible, why you believe INC chose you to serve the celestial bureaucracy, and tell me how you feel about serving to maintain the very stability of reality itself, for as INC agents, that will be your task.
Esther is going to kind of like let the others go first because she kind of wants to turn things around on them, essentially. She's going to kind of like nudge whoever's closest to her, I guess.
Choose. Who did you nudge in the back?
I'm going to choose Dr. Carey because I feel like that's the most comedic.
Oh, I apparently I've been working for you all along. My chancellor, he just thought I was doing right. He thought I was doing a good job. That's why I was selected. I had nothing to do with it. Also, I didn't realize that preserving stability is what you do. I don't know that I am qualified for that. I preserved my own world, but I know all about my world. What do I know about this place out here?
Ah, you preserved your own world. I see. Well, that's quite something, and obviously your Chancellor saw something in you. If you were working for INC all along, are you suggesting that the Chancellor was an INC agent?
That was... Yes. I do believe that.
Curious. I see. So someone trusted, selected you, handpicked you. You should trust yourself more then.
Maybe. It's also possible he just didn't want me to died in the horrible accident that was coming for me, but I'll think about what you said.
Oh? A horrible accident coming for you?
Well, we were dropped off the ice and dove this way and that, and they're coming from all sides.
It sounds
Keith
like
wanna
an
be confident.
interesting story I would like to hear sometime. But let's keep this brief. And Axel, Ace, Estria, what of the three of you?
I honestly don't know why you brought me here. I didn't save anything. I was ready to burn my world to the ground. And I'm even thinking about burning this place to the ground too. You've literally stopped me from my mission. And that's to get back to my loved one. You are in my way, but I have no idea how to get out. So I need you for.
I see. Well, tell us how you really feel, as my grandmother would say.
I think you're a shite organization. No wonder you're getting attacked.
Okay, well, I was joking about the telling how you really felt. But thank you for sharing.
I don't exactly know why I'm here either. What I remember from before, Hook was making demands, as usual. And then Wendy appeared on his boat, and there was all these fake creatures that came in, and the sky opened up just as we were about to fight, and then all these ships came in and threw some black crystals down. Everybody got taken away. There's just started falling down. I'm not sure. I didn't do any great works. I was about to kill Hook, but I was stopped from that.
Why were you about to kill this Hook? As you
Oh,
call him?
he was splitting out the Lost Boys. He was demanding allegiance.
This was your gang?
Yeah, it was a family more than a gang, but yeah, it was my crew. He turned pockets against us. He was going to cut off his hand.
You were
The
defending
crocodile
your
was gonna eat his
family
hand.
then. I see.
Yeah, and the sky opened up.
Do you two think my agency is a piece of shit?
No, you guys seem good enough story. There's obviously some problems going on. I don't know. It's not my place to say, but from what I can tell, you mean well. Fight pirates, right? That's what I know. That's what I'm good at.
Well, usually a bit below our pay grade, but
There's nothing wrong with killing pirates. It's pretty excellent.
Estria?
Esther is going to kind of look at him, and she's going to give him like a very steely gaze, like, all right, I got something on you, and I know stuff, so let's tango here. And she's going to start with, so you've been asking us a lot of questions, and to be fair, we are also putting a lot of trust in you, hoping that you aren't planning something and using us as scapegoats, for instance. So I think it's only fair that you answer some of my questions before I answer yours. And I do promise I will answer yours as truthfully as I am able.
I will answer your questions. However, answer mine first, and I will decide if you remain in the room. For example, Axel, if you could find your way to the door, please. Leave your gold cap with the guards. Thank you.
No problem. He turns around and walks out, and his cap to the guards.
So you were saying, Estria, how would you describe why you were brought into the academy and your feelings about it? Do you too think it's a shit agency?
To be fair, I don't have a very high opinion of most high-level organizations. However, that does not mean I think it's a piece of shite, if you will. I do believe that some of your morals are questionable, but that could be said of many people. There is a lot of gray areas, I do believe. As to how I came here, suffice it to say, I was tricked by a former colleague of yours in my occupation as a bounty hunter, which I will clarify, I was doing only to survive. It was the only thing I knew how to do. And I ended up in your jails as some of your boys were busting one of your jailers.
There's an emotion that ripples across his face as you say that, which he quickly tries to return to like a poker face. The three of you that are in the room can make an insight check on what you just saw.
Certainly will.
Ooh.
Nat 20!
Oh, nice.
Which is a 24.
15.
It's not good.
Ace isn't quick enough to snatch what it was. You do notice that he had a strange look on his face, like, something doesn't add up here. But Dr. Carey and even more so Estria read that as almost disbelief, like, wait, what the heck? And his body almost like jerks around for a moment to look as Axel's heading out towards the door and looks back at you like he's putting two and two together and you're not sure what it is, but there's something going on inside of his head that he seemed very worried about, like instant concern.
All right. Esther is going to instantly say, now, I know how that may look given present company. However, I promise you I have never met these individuals prior to coming to this place. And I promise you, I have no animosity towards your organization. As I said, my previous occupation was one simply of convenience and ability to do so.
Are you being honest, or are you pulling the wool over his eyes here?
No, I'm being honest. I would say Esther wasn't like, she enjoyed like, you know, the task of bounty hunting, like, you know, tracking something, figuring out its movements, its patterns, like that kind of thing. She really wasn't a huge fan of killing things, but you know, it was her job and she had to survive, so she would kill.
Okay. You can see his eyes, like you can tell that he's right on the point of like sending you right after Axel. Like you can see like grave doubts in his mind, but I'm going to give you a chance to persuade him. So because you're being genuine, I'm going to give you advantage on the check here.
Okay. Do I roll it first, or do you want me to say things first?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'll.
Okay.
Let's say that will depend on the DC on what you say.
Okay. In my previous occupation, I did engage with some of your boys and girls, but as I said, wasn't my ideal situation. I merely was taking the jobs that were available to me in order to keep myself alive. I'm sure you can understand and respect that. With regards to my former employers, I have no real ties outside of one individual who might owe me a favor that I could use in the future, if you catch my drift. But as to who that individual is at this time, I don't exactly remember, seeing as how my memory is still a little bit fuzzy from the transitioning process. But if I do remember the name, I give you my word that I will get that name to you discreetly.
All right. Let's. You can still see the doubt in his eyes, but let's make it a 14. If you can get a 14. He's going to
Okay.
let you stay.
Okay. Persuasion, right?
Yep, but with advantage.
Oh, right. That's a dirty 20, but I'll roll again just to see. That is a dirty 19.
As I said, I will take all the allies I can get, and if I have to roll the dice, why not? Why not with you?
I appreciate that.
He opens some doors out onto a balcony and walks out onto a balcony and asks you to join him.
Estria will lean against the door frame.
So, as we're moving, Carrie sort of looks back to see Axel leaving. I mean, Zome is here. Did he get the same?
Sorry.
Did he? You don't have to tell the story, but I wanted did Zominius do the same thing? And what was Mert's response to his? Was he also he clearly he does not like these other stories, but what does he think about Zome's? What's his reaction there?
He has listened to Zominius' story and allowed Zominius to stay. Yes.
Okay.
I'd definitely step out on the balcony with.
I mean, I was leaning on the door frame of the balcony, I should clarify. Sorry.
Yes,
Ace looks out across the city
Looking up.
for the second time. Dr. Carey's seeing it for the first time. This
Trying
impressive,
to see that. Yeah, trying to see that portal again.
yes, this impressive city built on the back of the Spelljammer, and the impossibly tall spire that disappears up beyond any ability to see any further, but you can tell it just continues going up and up and up where the Spelljammer is parked up next to. And directly at that spire, Mert points across to it and says, "That is the infinite spire, the center of the multiverse. Atop it rests Sigil, the city of doors, the cage, the central knot that binds all realms in place. Rumors say it now spins out of control, in danger of falling. Others fear it has fallen already, and the center of the multiverse is no more. Whatever the truth, our reality is in danger. And while the gods bicker and argue what they should do, we, their faithful servants of the celestial bureaucracy, do our best to aid them out there where boots on the floor are needed. Over here at the Academy, alas, we are the lowest rung in the chain of INC's command, and so we are the last to know anything important. But our benefactor, the benefactor of the Academy, plays by his own rules and has given us agency to act when we see there is a need. So I'm recruiting you in his name. Desperate times require desperate measures, and I apologize for any future inconveniences this might cause you, but not really, because this matters more. Our existence teeters in the balance, and we are overlooking something, missing something, some detail. And I believe that the events that have occurred over the last few days may seem small, but it's a thread that if we can grasp and pull at, perhaps the bigger things will unravel themselves and reveal themselves. To me, it seems that someone wants us out of the way. Unable to replenish our agents throughout the multiverse, at least, we pose a threat to their plans somehow, and they seek to destroy us from within. But we don't know who that is, or why exactly we pose a threat to them. As I mentioned, you're the only ones here who were not here when the first thefts occurred, making you the only ones free from suspicion. So I'm sending you on a mission tomorrow to flush out the saboteurs, to learn their identity. But more importantly, I need you to win their trust. Have yourselves taken into the bosom of their plans, and learn everything you can about what is going on. This is your true assignment. Everything else you were told about tomorrow's mission is bait. Now, I understand you have yet to fully integrate into your new jar. Your animus is still going through this process, and it's a lengthy process, but we're running out of time. So, in the deep end you must go. For this reason, a staff member, the one who I feel I can trust the most, will be sent along to supervise and make sure that nothing prevents you and the other recruits from completing your mission. That staff member is Winston Ryback, the quartermaster. If you have any issues, speak with him discreetly. I do truly believe he would not have stolen his own heirloom rifle, not even to free himself from suspicion. So I believe that he is trustworthy. Now, for all intents and purposes, your studies have concluded. I'm sorry they were so brief. The field mission you're being sent on tomorrow, I hope, will flush out our spy. It will be framed as an urgent field graduation exam. Once it is concluded, you will be promoted from cadets to full agents of the Interdimensional Normalization Corps. But going out into the field, albeit as cadets, it is not appropriate to go in red onesies. So, my inquiries report that the entry clothes requisitioned from your jars were also damaged beyond repair in the same fires that destroyed your files. As a token of my thanks for your cooperation, please come with me and step into my wardrobe. He heads in from the balcony over towards the wardrobe that, when the door is ajar, there's just this golden light pouring from it. Envision yourself as you would like to appear, and you will be so dressed. Although wearing a red tie of some nature is obligatory while you are still cadets. So, that is the only caveat. But wear whatever suits you.
When he finishes his spiel, essentially, Estria is gonna kind of look at him and say, all right, so essentially, you want us to go into the lion's den and attempt to flush out whoever's trying to bring down the universe. And we only have your word to go on that things are copacetic. I would like to ask you a couple questions, if I may, and if that's all right with you, I will give you a question you can ask me as well.
This seems reasonable. Go ahead.
Okay. My first question would be, what is your real connection with these Mercanes? And if there is anyone who knows about this, would they be inclined to join them? Or side with them at the very least?
Well, the Mercanes provide the Academy and the agency itself with the spelljamming thrones required to power our most powerful spelljamming vessels. And they are unscrupulous within their dealings. They trade not only with us, but other reprehensible sorts, such as the beholders and the mind flayers, who are known slave traders, something that I find reprehensible to the core. Now, I made this known with a certain mercane that me and my partner had a falling out with, and my partner might have laid hands on him, and this might have resulted in him being ejected from INC, so to speak. Something that led me to my assignment here as a mere instructor. This fellow, I believe, continues to hold this personal grudge against me and my partner, and maybe seeks a personal retribution. Yet I cannot get rid of the feeling that there's more to it than that. I don't feel that this is about me. It feels like that's a convenient excuse. I don't understand how you, a bounty hunter, have found yourself recruited in the ranks of the core. That is not a normal procedure. That your Leonin fellow seems rather out of sorts, not the kind of fellow who would be recruited into our ranks when we are all about stability and all he wants to do is blow up the world. This doesn't add up. Something's gone on here. I think these events might be related, but I don't have any proof. It's just a gut feeling. I wish I knew, but if I can find a place to start, maybe we can make sense of it.
So, if you don't mind, I actually have a thought coming together here, and I would like to share it with the group as I progress with it so that I may cohesively understand it better. These files, and she's going to point to the burnt files that were tossed her out. They are for the current recruits in this organization, yes?
All the current recruits' files have been destroyed.
Well, that would seem to me that someone wants to cover up that someone else has infiltrated. Now, it could be one or the other organization that you might be referring to as nefarious, but now that you have mentioned that you had a falling out with these mercanes and unfortunately lost your partner, my feeling is this. Perhaps the mercanes have recruited your former partner somehow and are convincing him that it was really your fault that he lost everything, and they promised him something very dear to him to enlist his help. And he is either here or has someone he knows can get a job done here, hidden amongst the recruits in probably a new body. My gut tells me this is just a stepping stone to try and take down this organization from within, but I have nothing to prove that yet, only your gut feeling that something else is going on. And I would imagine that taking down the instructor of the training facility of a very powerful interdimensional organization would be a pretty good way to start. It would give them access to their recruitment pool, allowing them to put who they want in, among many other things.
That's a terrifying thought. I hate to even contemplate that my partner might turn against me. But perhaps it is worth consideration, as I do not know who my enemies are, and I might well be surrounded. It is a thread I will follow up on. Thank you for bringing the idea to my attention. You've already proven yourself valuable.
You're quite welcome. And my second question will be brief. Do you actually trust anyone outside of this room right now?
Ryback. I trust Ryback.
Is that trust implicit? Would you stake not only your life, but everyone else's life within this organization, possibly the universe as a whole, on that trust?
Yes.
Very well then. If I need to contact you about my contact, I will trust Ryback, given the situation we are in.
I want to say that, given the grave threat to their life today, Seth and Bosun Tarto are likely trustworthy too, but I would not put my hand in the fire, because that could be a diversion as well.
I would also say that perhaps they have been utilized somehow to act as a double agent, with or without their knowledge, is up to the gods at this point. And it could be that they don't know anything and they're not involved. But I would say, do your best to not trust anyone at this point.
That is the attitude that each of you here in this room should also take. Trust each other, but no one else. And be careful what you tell your feisty friend.
Understood.
I trust him with my life. He pulled me out of wild space, but I'll take it under consideration.
Well, there's more at stake than just our lives. Do you have any other questions before you dress yourself?
Mm-mm.
All right, so I'm going to ask each of you to decide how you're going to dress your character.
No one wants to jump in. I guess I'll jump in again. Yeah, I saw Carrie. Yeah, sure. And Carrie had her eye on this warrior last with the bug fight, so she's definitely interested in sort of checking it out and walking sort of slowly. And she saw that it was magic. I guess she thought it was magic last time, and so she sort of understands that this is an interesting thing she wants to investigate. So she'll step in. We're wearing these like action suit onesies right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she just she just wants to dress like a human being. Like, she doesn't have her fancy armor, she doesn't have anything, so she just wants to wear just simple clothing. So she steps in, and she just wants to be wearing sort of nice, clean linen clothes, sort of a vest, sort of white, sharp, starched collar, undershirt, or sleeves, just sort of simple or linen trouser, just very sort of dark, simple, the kind of thing that you would put on when you don't want to think about what you're putting on, and that'll last you 16 hours of the day. So she steps out sort of very just sort of crisply dressed, but with no ornament really, no armor, no sigils, no nothing. It's very plain and businesslike.
When you step out without a tie,
Nope.
Mert kind of shakes his head and says, "The red tie of some sort is obligatory. I'm sorry. You'll have to go back and get the tie."
I suppose we can loosen the tie later on, right?
Yeah, the loose tie is...
Okay, all right, that's fine. So she steps in. This is like we're enveloped in a light and no one can see us when we're in this glowing thing. So
Yes.
she vanishes in, and as she's vanishing, as she sort of steps back out, she's got. I mean, she's wearing her nice tight her collar, so it's designed for a tie, but she's already sort of scrunching it down as she's walking. That's how she steps out of the light, is scrunching a tie down from her neck.
Okay.
I'll go. So Ace, I just start undoing the jumpsuit right there. Like we just walk in and it makes it. Take off my jumpsuit, let it fall, step into the
magic
wood.
kind of swirls around you, and you feel like you don't even have to do it. You're like they're just
I was
being
fully doing it before.
Before magically.
I was fully doing it before walking in.
Oh, okay.
then I step in.
Right, that's not. No, never mind.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's seen y'all's, to be fair.
Pop back out. That's true. That's true. Pop back in, and I'm envisioning just some impeccable black leather, everything. It's like a long coat, silken billow, and I can look pretty cool. Like shirts with the vest too. It probably has blue highlights on the designs. Leather pants, tall boots, everything dark though, very roguish, and tricorn hat, no feather, because that's kind of played out. Come on, and then he's about to step out and remembers the red, and the red tie materializes. He hasn't really ever seen a tie per se before, maybe like a cravat or something like that, but.
If you imagine a cravat, it will take the form of a cravat instead.
Okay, it probably does that at first, yeah. And then he remembered the one that Carrie had. He's like, no, this feels better. And he's going to leave that in, kind of tucked into the vest. Step out.
Nice.
Aha.
Estria is going to kind of look at the orb and be like, I guess that's a thing, and just step into it. And when she steps out, like a couple minutes later, she is basically in like a classic cowboy getup, except for the cowboy hat, like duster that is like a little bit worn, bandolier with all like the cartridges for her ammo, gun holstered around her back, and basically just like mottled dark brown, dark gray, like clothing all over. And the red tie is kind of like wrapped around her neck, kind of like a scarf almost.
Nice. Okay. As Estria exits, Mert heads into the wardrobe for a moment and comes out with a small pile of folded clothes. He kind of shrugs and says, this might be a little small for your friend, after Zemenius goes in and dresses himself and comes out looking magnificent. For the feisty leonine friend of yours. Might be small. It's going to be small.
It's not a loincloth, is it?
It might be at this point.
It's practical, let's say that.
True enough.
Okay, so he wishes you luck. I have faith that this has been the right decision. Trusting you with this. I wish you the best, and again, I apologize for any inconveniences that this will lead to in the future.
Just know, this may go off the deep end at some point, and we may have to jump before we're ready.
You will have my support, and you will have my benefactor's support.
Understood.
Sounds exciting.
Okay. You have a reputation score now as a +1 modifier with Mert, the three of you. Axel, unfortunately, has a -1 modifier.
Nice. Sweet.
So that will be in any of your interactions with him moving forward. The rest of your evening seems to pass fairly quickly, and the events of the day weigh on you as you settle in. The clothes provided to Axel are very basic, common clothes that only like reach up to here on your arms and the same on your legs. So you can choose between those kind of common, uninspiring clothes or your red jumpsuit.
He's just going to he'll keep the common clothes, but he's going to rip off the shirt and just keep the pants and only the pants.
Nice.
Yes, better than the loincloth. Okay.
There is a red tie there as well, though.
He takes it and he wraps it around his forehead like a bandana instead.
It's a good look. That's a good look.
Nice.
Good move.
Nice. Is there anything you guys want to do before the day passes and we move to tomorrow?
I think Astria, given like the amount of information she's just processed and like been given right now, she's not gonna be able to really sleep, so she's just gonna try and tire herself out by going to the gym.
Okay, so we can work through that off screen.
Yeah.
Is anyone else wanting to do anything similar? Dr. Carey, is that of any interest to you? Going to the gym with Astria? You're muted, sorry.
No. I've already had enough. I've already been blown up 5. I can't do that again. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Lovely. So we're going to take a 5-minute break now, and we'll be back after the break.
Sweet.
Great.
Well, all right.
I already took my own break while y'all were doing your thing.
Okay, and we're back. So,
Hello.
the next morning, about as bright and early as you could imagine, 4 bells. You're awakened by Bosun Tartar throwing garbage cans at you to get you out of bed, ordering you to get geared up for a field mission. Shortly afterwards, in the cafeteria, Quartermaster Ryback serves you a hasty breakfast with a wink and says, "Now don't forget your deluxe welcome pack that I know you got yourself there." You are a little bleary-eyed as you wake up, but your foreign bodies are feeling much more natural today. They fit better. They feel stronger, more streamlined, more connected to your consciousness. With breakfast hastily finished, Tardo will command you to the deck of a hammerhead ship called the Flighty Foundling, providing the blue cap that you need to reach Skydock for access. What do you take with you as you are amongst the shouts and the gruffness and the orders? You do seem to be getting a clear idea that this is not going to be a brief mission.
Is there a reason we couldn't just bring everything?
You're just okay, so you're grabbing everything that you have? Yep.
We don't have much. It's whatever we got in the commissary.
Yep.
Landed.
Right,
Give
so
me that much.
Definitely get it.
That would
Pretty
mean
much,
that Semenius taking his mini bottles of wine, etc., etc.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Axel definitely helps him with that.
So are you including in that your deluxe welcome packs that Ace managed to get for 4 of you at
Yeah,
least?
the toiletries.
Yeah. We might need to shower.
Okay. As soon as you are on board the ship, there are certain things that become clear. You're not the only cadets involved in this mission. Other than Ryback, Vina and her flunkies are there. The plasmoid is aboard. Sans, his halfling companion, friend, however. There is, however, a Thrycreen cadet who you might have seen around, but not someone that you've run into much before. The ship takes off immediately, and it flies you towards the city of the Spelljammer, Celestia. Tardo begins barking information at you. An adamantine meteor has struck the Fang on the planet Hecatha. You lot are going to recover it. You see, adamantine is the prime material used by the Mercane to create new Spelljammer thrones for our fleet. It's a precious material, and we need to get it before anyone else gets their grubby hands on it. The good news is the old wolf has signed off on this mission as a field exam. What does that mean? Well, do the mission right, and you all get promoted from cadet to agent. The reaction from Wiener and the others is immediate, like, what, are you serious? Like, oh my god, oh my god, we're gonna be agents. It's like the final exam. And Taro hushes them down immediately. You're right. This mission will replace months of academy training. The bad news is that Hecatha is populated solely by beholders and their kin. The good news is that INC has an old tyrant ship in our possession waiting for you to crew it. The other bad news is, as part of your exam, you'll need to clear the ship yourself. No enemy ship is safe till it's being cleared. And beholders don't use the kind of thrones that us folks with legs use, you see. So you'll need to install a new throne, a new spelljamming helm aboard. This will be part of your training and part of the exam as well. Now, traveling aboard this beholder vessel, you should be able to reach the spire without attracting the unwanted attention of any other tyrant ships patrolling the Hecathan wild space. But you will need to be on guard. That would be a quick and swift end to your training and your careers. So, I'll be dropping you off at the jail docks on the outskirts of Celestia, where Quartermaster Winston Ryback will ensure you don't go hungry. He'll command the deckhands Vina, Dallas erstwhile, Ermin erstwhile, McKevin, Haverstans, and Cricklet, and Fred. Now, given your company achieved the higher score on yesterday's flight simulation, you will be commanding the mission. So, you'll need to identify who among you will act as the senior officers of this mission, and the roles that each of you will take charge of, as well as who navigates the ship. So, I'll need for you to decide that now.
The captain.
Well, I do regret what happened last time, and to be honest, I've been thinking about it. I'm not much for inspiring people to do their best. I'm more of a shoot and, figure things out kind of girl. I would say a captain is best left to someone who knows how to bring out the best in people. And she's going to look at Zomanius and say, I would say that's you, partner.
Do the rest of you all agree? Zomanius, do you take this charge? And he looks first at the three of you, Ace, Carrie, and Axel, as if you're all in agreement with this.
Oh, yes.
Sozo's the best choice.
Axel gives a curt nod.
Zomanius graciously accepts. And the rest of you then?
Axel will actually walk up to Zomanius and say, anything you need me to do, just give me the order. I'll be your right.
He gives you a very Zomanius-like friendly reply, building your self-confidence up and making you feel that he trusts you fully in anything that might be needed aboard. Ace and Dr. Carey, are you settling in on your roles, declaring your roles to Tarto?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I suppose I'll have to go steer.
It's a good idea. You did very well with your navigating, I must say. That was a spectacular effort from each of you yesterday. One of the best I've seen.
The best.
No, no, it wasn't the
and
best.
It's the worst.
It was the best of the day, I can say. I look over at Vina. It was the best of the day. But, Sarto, I feel like you've personally inspired me, and I would like to be the bosun of this mission.
Well, okay. Well,
You run a tight
more
ship.
than I liked you before.
we run a tight ship, and I'm going to keep this one the same way.
All right, keep them ship shape then, Ace.
Got it.
And as I was saying before, I'm pretty good at shooting things, so I suppose I should take charge of the gunnery as the master gunner.
On a tyrant vessel, this might be tricky, but certainly that is a most important position on any spelljamming ship. Someone with a good shot will certainly be good at that role.
Well, if it can shoot things, I'll figure it out eventually. Might take me a minute or two.
Okay.
Do we see the ship?
At the moment, you're just flying over the city towards where you're going to be landing at what he's described as the jail dock. So
Okay.
there's just a conversation happening in the air at the moment.
What makes these ships different from the Hammerhead?
Well, one thing is it's made of stone. So don't try and land it in water or you'll sink it like a rock. And, well, it kind of looks like a beholder. It's designed for the floating, limbless body of a beholder. They get around without needing the use of ladders or steers. So I'm not sure that they defend themselves with catapults, ballisters, and that sort of thing. You might find that it doesn't carry the kind of siege weapons that we're accustomed to on the Hammerhead ships.
That thought had not occurred to me.
What
But I
do
will
they
keep it in
use? They must have some main defense. What happens if you bump out to one of these beholder ships in wild space?
I know that they have all sorts of rays that they're able to shoot from their eyes.
Ooh.
I believe they are
Oh,
able
not-
to channel those powers directly from their ship. Nasty business.
Oh. That sounds very interesting.
All right. Well, I believe those are all good decisions. Did you say, Axel, what you will be doing?
Sorry, me?
Yes, you.
What am I going to be doing?
Yes. Which officer role
Uh,
will you
I-
be assuming?
I'll be the Axels. I'll be the first mate. Did you not hear me? I'll be Zozo's right.
I see. That was your way of saying you'll be the first mate. Okay. All right. Understand. The view as you cross the city, you saw it from the balcony. Ace and Zaminius also saw it from the balcony of the cafeteria. But as you fly over it, you can make out a lot more detail the closer you get. And there are a number of curious things that capture your attention as the buildings get steadily bigger. The further you move away from the academy, which is right out like on a peninsula at the very edge of the Spelljammer. There is, at the very center of the city, a ziggurat with a thin tower atop it, and a circular ring of energy where every now and again a Spelljammer ship will appear within the ring and then fly out above the city. On the far side of the city, at the base of the impossible spire, there is a line of colorful figures visible to the eye now, the closer you get. They seem your size, but given how far away they must be of mind-blowing proportions, these figures. They seem to be like sitting lined up as though waiting for something, clutching like almost like a file of pamphlets or something like that they might be carrying in their hands. And punched into the side of the spire, you can now see a quite a good view of this dark portal with the swirling dark mists that come around it, from it, and there are two long snake-like dragons writhing in the air near the black hole as they're guarding this black portal. Closer to the level where the Spelljammer is parked, essentially, the rectangular portal, which seems to be opening and shutting and letting this celestial light spill forth with this kind of elevator music coming out of it every time it opens. Opens and you see another of these, you suppose, huge, gargantuan-sized figures come out. Feminine from the torso, very feminine curves, skin dark as night, hair silvery white, and far more arms than what you would expect anyone to have, and the spider-like body behind her comes out of this rectangular portal, and you sense there's fury in her movements as whatever paper she was holding, she's tearing them up, throwing them on the ground, and storming off as another of the figures kind of lifts themselves up and kind of walks into the rectangular portal, and the gates close, the music ends, and another one disappears from view. There are a group there sitting and waiting that, if you were to be interested in, you could try and garner some details about them. And you seem to be swooping down towards this dock, which will be familiar to Istria, the dock that you landed your one-person moth spelljammer at. And parked there are two vessels that you can even see from a distance that Ace recognizes. One is a giant turtle with a galleon crashed onto its shell, and the other seems to be an orca parked there. And amongst that are some other strangely shaped ships, and one of them seems to be this circular stone ship, which Tarta will point out from a distance. That round one there, that's the tyrant ship.
What about that galleon there? We can't just take one of the other ships.
Oh, you need to take a tyrant ship so that the tyrants that you might cross won't...
I wasn't thinking. I'm very familiar with that ship in particular.
Well, those ships have been requisitioned. They were in the hands of...
heroes, right? Yeah.
No good doers. Actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, then never mind.
Does anyone want to focus on anything in particular? Study anything? Take note of anything? Or just you're more interested in the landing of the dock?
I kind of want to see if there's anything going on that's like loading or unloading of any particular ships.
On the dock itself, there doesn't seem to be too much movement at the moment. You can see there seems to be a couple of figures dressed in black suits. They're quite small at the moment, but they do seem to be standing on the dock as though waiting for your arrival. So the Flighty Foundling, the hammer ship that you're riding in at the moment, smoothly docks in alongside the tyrant ship, which, now that you're right next to it, looks like a gigantic stone-carved beholder. The dock itself looks more like a military construction than a merchant dock. The buildings are very stark. You can see towers at either end of the dock with armed guards. There's an edifice right in the center of the dock that seems to be a military building of some sort, perhaps a prison. The closer you get to the other ships, you can see that the Orca ship seems to be made of actual bone rather than lumber in the hull beams, so to speak. And the turtle that the galleon seems to be stuck on its shell is looking very glum. As you disembark, you realize that the central building is in fact a prison, and faces pressed against the bars, there's a number of impish faces who press their faces up and jeer out, and they're calling out all sorts of insults and jeers and mockery. Some of the faces amongst them look very boyish, and some of them look strange and alien to you, creatures that you might never have seen before. The two men standing awaiting your arrival are dressed in these black suits, dark glasses. One of them, however, is a beholder with glasses on each of its eye stalks, big central one-lensed glass right in the middle of its face. And they swiftly approach you. The human or human-like person who seems to be with the beholder doesn't seem to be very impressed by what he sees as he looks you up and down. So, these are the new recruits. I'm underwhelmed, Mario. The beholder responds, "Now there, Agent Sims. You must not judge a book by its cover. Besides, you have the same godless look on your faces when you were on your first assignment, Agent Sims. They'll whip themselves into shape, I'm certain of this. Greetings, cadets. I'm Massive Mario, and Mert speaks very highly of each one of you. As such, the following mission is your final field exam." Agent Sim continues, "If you make it back safely, you will be assigned a Spelljammer of your own and be issued with a field standard INC gear start pack. However, just in case you don't make it back, we are issuing your company with a pair of INC sending stones and a field weapon. We apologize that this is so rushed, but this mission will mean the conclusion of your training, as we have urgent need of active agents. So, return as swiftly as possible, alive, preferably, and if you do, you will indeed become graduating members of the Interdimensional Normalization Corps." Yes, and now if you could give me your preferred weapon, and I will exchange it for an INC field weapon.
Axel will walk up and take and unsheath his great sword and hand it over to him.
Sims dips into a bag and pulls out an equally large greatsword and puts it in your hand. You have a +1 greatsword.
Oh shit!
Esther's gonna walk up to him and say, "Well, this thing is decent, but I hope you got something better," and hand him the musket.
Yes, rather shabby make, I see. And reaches into the bag again and pulls out a much nicer musket. +1 musket.
Nice.
Ace will walk up and tip his hat down and draw his rapier with a flourish and hand it over.
A rapier is placed in Ace's hands. Much nicer make. You have a +1 rapier.
Carrie comes up and says, "I'm still not used to using these things, but I suppose a better one, must be easier to use." And so she has the 2 scimitars that are sort of at her hip, and she sort of hands it over.
Okay, so you prefer that to like an arcane focus?
I don't. I would not. I did not realize that was an option.
It is an option, yes.
Well, I mean, my focus is my spell book, though, so I don't know. Can I swap out my magical spell book that I can summon at a whim?
Do you mention any of these problems? Do you suggest?
Do they look askance when I a clear wizard book holder type with a familiar sort of tries to hand over a scimitar instead?
Sims actually says, "Do you even know how to use a sword?"
I yes and no, if you get me. Like, I don't, but the body seems to. I'm not. Yeah, like I said, I'm still getting used to it.
A magic user, yes.
I mean, it's not my preferred tool, but sometimes fishbowl head people sort of appear and start assaulting you.
Do you have a wand you would like to replace, or an orb?
Oh no! Oh no! That's all old-fashioned. No! I just have this, and her 2 little sub hands sort of appear from her waist, and they snap, and this book, this huge book, just sort of appears into her hand out of nothingness in her hands. She sort of clutches it to her chest. This is all I need.
I see. He reaches into the bag and pulls out a bookmark. Hands you a bookmark.
Oh, this is very nice.
So that will make your spellbook a +1 arcane focus.
Okay, which is just +1 DC and attack, spell attack type things.
Correct.
Ooh, whoa, this is very nice. Thank you.
Well, your final exam begins now. You will need to install this spelljamming helm on that tyrant ship in order to fly it to retrieve the adamantine from the Hakathan Fang. Of course, only the entrance to the cargo deck has been cleared for you. Assume no other locations are safe. This is part of your training. So, good luck. And we hope to see you back here very soon. And they step back and leave you guys to do it as they watch every move that you guys make. Vina kind of says sarcastically, like, "Okay, so you're the officers, so, like, what are we doing?" Quartermaster Ryback says, "Well, now, I think I'll take charge of Vina and Fred and the others. We can clear the cargo deck. Well, they can clear the cargo deck while I get myself set up in this nice, already safe area. And how about you there take charge of installing the spelljamming throne in the command deck?" That'll be somewhere upstairs.
All right, Carrie sort of eyeballs the helm. This is made. It looks like it's made out of just like pure like stone, metallic.
It looks like the kind of chair that you guys sat in when you were moving the little mini ones. So it is like it is certainly look like it's been carved from precious stones. There is some lovely cushioning to the back and the seat of the chairs, the arms. It's a beautiful piece of work, but it does not look like light or easily managed. So your first challenge is maneuvering this thing together through the ship.
Where are so many of our quest lifting things? Carrie sort of looks out of the corner of her eye at Axel.
Axel will like stare back at Dr. Carey and goes, "I guess I can help." And then he'll like head over there to try to pick it up. It's probably going to be too heavy for me by myself, I'm assuming. So he's going to also look at...
You can get it off the floor, but it's like that awkward shape where it's like, it doesn't need to be that difficult if you get more hands to move it with you, you know?
Yeah, I'll help carry it, maneuver.
No, I'll carry it.
I see what you did there.
Esther's going to take out her rifle and kind of look at the rest of them and motion like downwards, like, shh, gotta be quiet, boys. Don't know what we got in here. Don't want them to know we's coming if they's here. I'll take the lead. I'll signal you if we should stop or keep it down or some such. And with that, Esther is going to go over here. I assume that's where we need to go.
So as you head over to that area there, you can see like up above you, there's like a shaft leading to the upper parts of this tyrant ship. You assume that is where beholders would just float upwards to reach the other parts of the deck. However, without the ability to float, this is going to be more challenging to get that Spelljammer thrown up there.
What kind of walls are the rock, or is the side of the shaft? Is it smooth? Is it like porous?
They are porous, yes. They do not look like they have been completely smooth. They are smooth in parts, but there are enough ridges and chunks that it's climbable. Okay,
good. That's all I needed to know. Esther is going to look at the shaft, look around, and be like, all right, then. She's going to look back at the team and say, just hang on for a little bit. You can put that down if you want. I'll try to rig something up to make this a bit more climbable. And with that, she's going to attempt to basically use her rope and pitons that are in her backpack to create kind of like a pulley in a way to try and get the thing up and also make it easier for people to climb up at the same time.
Okay. Do you have any proficiencies with any tools of any sort?
That's a good question.
Tinkerer's tools, perhaps?
Can Carrie try to judge if this throne looks like it is either less than or greater than 500 pounds in weight?
You think it's less than 500 pounds.
Carrie looks up the shaft. This is a good idea and all, but I can do the wiggle and lift thing.
For some reason, I only have proficiency with a flute. Yeah, I don't actually have proficiency with like tools of any kind at this time.
Okay, so you can certainly make it easier for people to climb up with the climbing kit that you have. Like make a kind of pegged path for everyone to much more easily climb up the semi-smooth surface. At this stage, you don't have what would be required to make a pulley system as such, although you do have the ropes. But if there was someone amongst you who did have tools, if you wanted to go with a pulley system that might be able to outrig that, then that's going to be much more feasible.
Fair enough. She's going to look back at the team and be like, I'm not actually sure how to do my plan, so if one of y'all knows how to rig up some kind of pulley, help us get that thing up there, that'd be mighty appreciated.
No, I Dr. Carey cast levitate on the throne.
I think that's the easiest way. Yeah,
I suppose that'll work.
magic.
I mean, we still need to get the rest of us up, but I don't. I'm
That
gonna
makes
see.
my job easy. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna try to exploit my dungeon master's interpretations of this rules by first casting levitation on the throne and then seeing if I can sit on it as it rises up.
I think, how much does Carrie weigh? Probably not that much, right?
Buggy things. I don't. I couldn't tell you. Normal buggy size? Is that about normal human size?
I think it's.
I guess she was kind of beefy as a. Yeah.
Not that heavy.
190, 200. Yeah, she's not like huge.
Okay. Yeah, it's still floating. There's a dip. There's a dip, but it's still floating.
All right. If you can't figure this out yourself, I'll help you in a few minutes here. Up. And she just starts drifting up.
Okay, so you've headed over to the shaft, sitting on the throne, and are floating upwards, yeah?
Yes.
Before that conversation happened, did Estria already start the process of putting the peg ladder, so to speak, up into the walls?
I think when she started mumbling and no one else was responding, Esther would just been like, "All right, I'm gonna just stop this then," and started doing the peg. So I would imagine she got some of it done, but probably not all of it at this point.
Okay, the shaft is actually quite sizable, so there is enough for room for Carrie to float past. So give me a athletics check with advantage from the climbing kit itself. See how far you progressed before Carrie floats past you. What's everyone else doing as Carrie and Estria are working on getting the throne up that shaft?
I guess we kind of had walked over there to at least the shaft point before they did the levitate, and then they kind of took off. So Axel's just going to be underneath, watching them. But he's going to.
You cut out there, Kabuki. Did you mute for some reason?
No, my headphones just died.
Okay.
Hold on. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So he came over there, and as he's watching, Estria start the climb, and then Dr. Carey float with the levitate on top of the throne, he's just waiting. He just extracts his claws and waits, kind of for his turn. He's gonna try to use his claws to climb it himself without any help.
Okay. I would say that Estria is only at the beginning of the process of putting the climbing kit steps up when Carrie's floated past. So how fast does the levitation work there, Win?
20 feet around.
20 feet around. Okay. Let me just check something very quickly.
Fun fact about levitate: if you were to levitate someone who was underwater at deep pressure, the speed of that would give them nitrogen poisoning.
Well, shit. Then
So technically, you'd die if you try to levitate out of water.
don't do that.
Interesting.
Okay, it's going to take you 2 rounds to get to float up to. Hang on. No, it must be more. 4 rounds to get to the top of the ship.
So there's basically just 2 floors.
There are 3 floors. There's a middle area, but the shafts do not give access to the middle area.
Oh. Okay. So I don't notice there's 3rd floor at least. Okay.
Exactly. So you've gone from the bottom floor right to the top floor, unaware of there being a middle floor.
Got it. Right. Yeah. I mean, unless I hear someone shouting from below about some shenanigans or another, I'll float up. When I get close to the top, I'll sort of go slow just in case there's someone up there. Try to peer over the edge.
Okay, so Axel, seeing that you want to go up on your own steam, you could just leap up and go up the other side of the shaft as Estria is making the steps easier for Ace if you wanted.
Okay.
You don't have a climb speed though, do you?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, but the claws are very useful. They're finding the small purchases within the grooves of the somewhat smooth wall, but the grooves are there, and you would have caught up and because Estria is making a path for Ace to get up, begin to surpass him, so to speak. There is enough room if you wanted to, though, Goonie, have Ace begin climbing up behind Estria,
Sure,
or you're going to
yeah.
wait until she's made more progress.
I think I will look around a little, make sure there's no into where we are, and then probably start climbing up.
Okay, so what you're seeing is that Quartermaster Ryback has begun ordering around the other students, Vina and company, to bring in all of the supplies that he's brought from the Hammerhead ship, barrels and crates, you suppose food, like some sort of cooking stove that's being lugged in by the plasmoid and the thrycreen. And that's what's happening behind you. Other than that, you're not seeing any activity or movement from anywhere. Zemenius will head over as well to be ready to climb up behind. Okay, so round 2. Each give me a athletics check again. Oh, wow.
Ooh, I just rolled a nat 20. I'm a good climber.
Do I still have advantage?
You do, yes.
Oh, another!
Dang.
Another!
What is going on?
Let's go.
Good at climbing. Nice.
Got a 19.
Progress, although initially somewhat slower, begins to really be quite impressive. So you basically catch up with Dr. Carey with that amazing performance, and a rope peg stairway almost is left behind you to be able to go up and down that particular shaft with advantage at a much lower difficulty, where now it's almost trivial. So as you reach the upper deck, I'm going to just move you over to the shaft of the command deck. Can I do that? Can I select you all? Not too familiar with selecting everyone at once, how that works. I know you can. I'll just do it one by one. And Carrie, kind of, you said you kind of peered up the top of the shaft, right? Kind of like checking for any signs of danger, correct?
Yes, you just don't want to just blast through without scoping the scene first.
Okay. The rest of the team is kind of around the wall at various points, clinging on to the pegs and things, pairing up with you. You can.
I'll be honest. I don't think Axel waits. I think he just blasts right by Carrie and jumps out of the shaft.
Okay. Cool. So there's like a central part where you can see that within the ground itself there seems to be some type of cover, and the walls around this cover do have these arcane kind of sigil-looking things, very foreign to anything that Axel's seen, especially as someone not involved in alchemy or artifice. They just look like bizarre lights with strange symbols marked haphazardly around the jutting parts of the curved walls that he can see. As soon as you get closer to the central part, as the others are peering over, you see that there's lights that just come on, and all of a sudden the ship just starts spinning. Everyone roll initiative for me, please.
Son of a bitch.
All right. It is a 23.
I'm very surprised.
Ooh, I rolled a 14.
26.
Oh, I'm not last.
Yay! Well done. Okay, so before the ship actually begins to spin swiftly, both Ace and Istria can feel that it's about to start spinning. You can have a turn before that becomes a thing.
Okay.
So,
Starting with Ace with 26 initiative.
right. So, yeah, first thing I would probably get out of the tunnel and move forward. Probably would stop right behind. Yeah, I would stop right behind Axel. It's like, whoa, what's going on? Something's happening.
Okay. What would you want to do with the few seconds that you have?
I'm gonna. I don't know what's about to happen, so I'm gonna drop my shiny new weapon, and I don't really know what to expect here. Just gonna, yeah, just be ready for anything, guys.
So are you like technically would you be dodging, or are you preparing an action to attack anything you
Actually,
see? Or...
yeah, dodging would make sense since he can feel the shit moving, being ready to tumble if in case it starts doing anything, like flips around, whatever. Yeah, dodging.
Okay. What about Istria?
So, how far away is that? Oh, perfect. Okay. So, Estria is going to use her Blessing of the Raven Queen ability, which is basically Misty Step, but also I can use it a number of times equal to my proficiency bonus. I gain all expended uses on a long rest, and at level 3, I also gain resistance to all damage until the start of my next turn. And I appear ghostly and translucent during that time. So I'm going to basically teleport myself to, like, whatever looks the most like the power source to me. And I'm going to try to destroy it.
Okay. Sure. The power source seems to be these sigils carved into like the jutting out parts of the walls, and in the circular areas there are more of them. So you could begin with the jutting out areas of the walls that you're standing next to, or go into one of the circular chambers and try in there.
I'm gonna go with the chambers. I assume like the bigger circles are the chambers?
Yes.
All right, I will go to the one closest to me. I'll go there. And is there something that I could obviously see is like connecting into and possibly providing power to the
There
devices?
are a number of arcane control panels embedded into the walls. Now that you're standing up in close into the ones of this chamber, they have some knobs and levers and fiddly, lighty, flashy things that seem very alien to you. Certainly like nothing you might have seen on any of the spelljamming vessels you've been on before. Are you just going to haphazardly like start smashing things, or you want to start like trying to switch things off, or?
Honestly, yeah. Anything that's glowing or looks like it's on, I'm just gonna turn it off.
Okay. So, just out of pure luck, right? You're just hoping to hit the right button.
At this point, yeah, it would seem so.
Roll a 1d10.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's a natural.
Nice. Let's go.
That's the magic number. Snap. The deck that had just begun to roll, and everyone feels yourself like as if you were in the inside of a dryer, about to like pick you up and start hurling you around as if you were clothes to be dried. Just kind of rolls up and all the lights go off.
I kind of turn around to everyone and say, "Yo, welcome."
For what?
I don't know, but it probably would have been bad.
Okay.
Quick thinking there. Quick thinking.
Yeah,
I got lucky as all. Thank you kindly, but yeah, we all lucky today.
Wow. Damn, I was not expecting you to roll 10.
I was not either.
Okay, so the deck, funnily enough, as you've come up the shaft, you've felt that things have flipped around. So whereas you were standing this ways before, what's happened now is you've kind of dropped down into this area, and you're now like standing the opposite way that you were when you entered the ship. The gravity plane has completely the opposite of what's down below.
That's a little peculiar.
Is there just no gravity in the tunnel then? Does it pull us? Was it when
There
we
was a
landed
certain,
on
there
the,
was
on
a
the
certain
deck?
moment where you kind of
It
kind of felt very
Yeah.
strange, and you're like, oh, instead of like climbing, you're like, whoa, I'm like, we have to stop falling now, and kind of like you built
Yes,
the
right.
ladder downwards instead. So
Would have had to rotate the throne right when we get to that middle point.
So I kind of want to do that detect portal thing again to see if there's anything like within the ship that could be causing this gravity shift.
sure. That's automatic. That's an automatic power. You don't have to roll.
Yeah, that's just as an action I can detect distance and direction to the closest planet portal within 1 mile of you.
Yeah, you have that same like overwhelming sensation that on the very edge of that, beyond its range, there are again uncountable portals, is what you kind of feel. Within the 1 mile, you're now within range of the central Stargate, let's call it. However, within this ship, there are no portals, and you think that the gravity plane is like at a certain point you can be on the hull or the deck of the ship, where depending on where the gravity plane is in the middle, it will, being on the other side of that, will pull you to it, like being on a sphere. When you're on this side, it pulls you down here. When you're on this side, it pulls you there. So it's just a natural part of where the gravity is within this vessel.
Interesting. This ship's a bit strange, I'll tell you what.
Have you seen the throne sort of slowly rises up a thing? Have you seen a place where this goes? Is she sort of steering? Once we get to the level of that deck, she can start sort of floating the helm sort of sideways. So she starts to sort of scooching along the deck, saying, "All right, where does this go? Is it go? Is there any place up here to put it?"
I would guess in the middle. I don't know.
Let's not assume anything, because these things is weird as hell, and I don't know anything.
So I'll look around. Do we have a view of the top deck? Do I see a place, another sort of shaft that was hidden?
The deck has 3 shafts which go down to the loading deck.
Mm-hmm.
You've come up the first one that you encountered.
Yeah.
But there are 2 more of these shafts, and they seem to also go up higher into what might have been like the carved like stalks of the eyes of the beholder. So you could continue further up the shaft to like a top viewing deck, so to speak.
But there's no other
within this deck. There are these 3 circular chambers with these arcane controls that also seem completely alien and foreign to you. Also, in the very center, to your eye, there seems to be like a metal movable plate almost. There seems to be a screwable factor to the very center of this deck that you could move aside, so to speak, to reach the unseen until now central deck of the ship.
Okay.
You do have the feeling that you are on the command deck, though, which is where Quartermaster Ryback told you to install the Spelljamming through.
Oh, great. Well, I suppose someone might want to look down. Did we word there was someone else on this ship? This thing?
They said to assume there could be anything here.
Right, well,
I guess I will try to move that metal plate and take a look in there.
Yeah, just as this is happening, just if everyone can like put yourselves where you currently are on the map. Can you can each see where you're at the moment?
Oh yes.
On the command deck? So if you zoom,
I feel like I'm not seeing the map. I'm sorry.
it was zoomed into a certain part of the map, possibly. Do you want me to share it again?
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay, got it. It's all one big.
I
map.
run the.
Yeah. I figured it out.
Axel's gonna move next to Ace and assist him if he needs it.
I think Astral is gonna like try to figure out the control panel here. To be honest, it seems like the move.
Cool.
Okay.
But there's no like obvious like window or front to this. There's no like it's not like the ship is facing a certain direction.
No, it's very alien in its design.
They're weird. I guess I should just be off to one side, so I'll sort of hover. Let's see. I guess we should go left. So she'll just kind of keep steering it just in a straight line.
Over the movable part, over the movable floor part.
Yes, over as long as Ace isn't already like jerking it up. But yeah, sort of. I heard the intention is sort of to park it in the top right sort of lobe, unless anyone tells me differently.
Okay, so you would eventually end up somewhere over here. Okay, so that can happen while Ace begins to try and figure out how to open this floor shaft, right?
Right. Yes. So, let's see. I'm just gonna look at it and see if there's if I can roll an investigation while looking at it. And see if there's anything I can see that would give away how we'd move it. Like if it's bolted in, or if there's any.
Make an investigation check.
Ooh, it's not very good.
Yeah,
it doesn't. 2.
It doesn't seem to have any handles or any things that creatures with hands would use to twist or spin it. But you do have the feeling that it needs to spin to open. Is the one thing that you just can't see like an easy way to grab onto the smooth surface at the moment. It doesn't seem to be designed for people with hands to open.
I see. Well, in that case, Hold on a second. Let me read this 1 second.
In the meantime, have Histria make a Arcana check for me, Bob.
Alrighty. That is a natural 5.
You have the feeling that you got about as lucky as you could going into just the right chamber and hitting just the right weird button to shut whatever was about to happen down. But as you look at this thing, you're really hoping that installing this other chair is going to absolutely bypass having to deal with any of this, because it's obviously for a completely different kind of mind how this is usually operated by a beholder.
Yeah, I have no clue how this shit works. I'ma just move down. She's gonna go over to the hole with Ace and Axel and Zombies.
Okay.
So
Is Axel trying anything with this floor? Or you just
I was
watching
just-
things?
Well, I was just like I said, I was just gonna go next to Ace and assist him if he needed it. But he's just kind of sitting
Looking
back
at it.
behind him, just like looking at Ace. He's just sitting there, kind of like looking at Ace, looking at the plate, looking at Ace, looking
I'm
at the
scratching my
plate.
head, scratching my head like, huh.
In the meantime, is Dr. Carey going to set the throne down, or are you keeping it off the deck?
No, yeah. Once it's in a place, I guess she sort of turns it so it faces, into the. Once it feels like it's in a good symmetrical place, equidistant from all the adjacent. Down, land it into the location.
So would that be, for example, are you happy with it being, say, here, there, or more like in the middle of the square, like there?
As long, I mean, is there like so Estria was in one of these different lobes, flipping a bunch of switches and things. Is there sort of a similar panel in this?
This looks equally as baffling in here.
Yeah. So I mean, as long as, I guess, to make room, maybe like right. I can't put it right there. Right there. I'll put it right there.
Okay, so that's where you want to go. Okay.
So sort of leave room for people to get to the switches if they need to, but room to get around the helm if they need that.
As soon as you settle down, you set the throne down, you see like arcane, almost, you could describe them as roots, just ripple out through the floor, and you can feel like a hum come alive as the ship has these energy lines that go up the walls and change all of the colors of these knobs and beeps and bops of this alien technology, and they take on the same color as the arcane lines that the throne has etched into the ground as the throne takes over the control of this tyrant ship. You're not certain, but you have a feeling that your throne's going to bypass however the beholders usually steer the ship.
Are you guys noticing any changes?
I mean, there's this blinking light over here, but I don't know about that.
All right, can I do anything about that? Let me see. And she sort of touches her fingers, just her fingers around her head, and sort of tries to reach out and what the hell Estria is talking about, and if it's something under my control now.
Are you gonna sit and attune to the throne? The one's just on the ground, so you're attuning.
Yeah, well, no, I was riding it the whole time because I was too lazy. I didn't want to climb up my.
Gotcha.
I was a floating throne this entire time. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
Not only does that connect to the ship, you feel your whole mind begin to merge with the ship as you become the navigator and begin to take control. You feel those pins and needles, a horrible sensation again, come throughout your body, and the ability to change your focus to anywhere throughout the ship begins to settle over you once more. The shape is unfamiliar and strange, but you don't need to make sense of these strange arcane control panels because you're in control through the spelljamming throne that's just taken over.
Wait, okay, well, this switch is
You
the
think-
light that Astral is
you
shouting
think-
about? Is it anything important?
If you're referring to the previous switch that Istria turned off, is that one you're talking to about?
I don't know. She was just shouting that there was lights blinking. That's all. I'm just trying to I'm trying to get a feel of, oh, you're talking about this switch right here. That's flashing.
I was kind of just making like a modem blinking joke.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
I assume yes. It's the toilet needs flushing or something like that. What the switch is.
Oh, that's why there's a poop there.
From down below,
These folders, they don't. Number 2, you gotta let. Come on.
From down below, you hear Ryback's congratulatory shout rise up from the shaft. That's it. That's a go. All right. Cargo deck is clear. Ready for takeoff when you're ready, Dr. Carey.
All right. So she reaches out. They're coming in a door. Close the cargo door. She can use her senses to make sure that no one's sort of standing in it. Maybe if Fina's right near the door, she'll start the door a few seconds early.
So what you can see at the moment is down below. It seems that McKevin seems to has been taken as the quartermaster's hand and is packing all of his foods into usable areas and setting things up in the main cargo area down below, whereas Vina and her 2 mean girl associates have swept all the way to the left, and the Thrycreen and the Plasmoid seem to have gone on as another pair to sweep the other parts of the deck, and they're kind of like heading back towards where Ryback is setting things up and currently shouting at. So everything seems good to close the doors and take off.
Great. She closes that. Maybe sort of raises the ship, just a few inches off the ground, just to get it used to. What she really wants information about is the spinning thing. Is the spinning thing going to be like essential for travel? Can she tell it's like a security measure? What was going on right
a
there?
Security measure. You realize that was a security measure designed for people who don't float to essentially be bludgeoned to death by the ship itself.
Very nice.
Okay, we'll just
Yay!
deactivate that one right there. All right. Let's take off, and just as she's saying that, the ship is lifting off and sort of slowly drifts out of the dock.
The quartermaster calls out to you. The Stargate will be ready for you. Hekatha, that's our destination.
Pikatha.
And with that information, you head towards this central portal in this middle of Celestia, and a little voice comes into your head saying that you're cleared for takeoff, and you can fly into that portal.
Okay, I guess I should just do you just need to think the word. I've never done this before. Do I just think the word? Okay, she just thinks Pikatha and sort of flies straight towards this opening.
You go through. You all feel the bend as you go through this portal. One moment you're there on the Spelljammer, the next thing you're heading in the right direction, far out into the Astral Sea, buzzing through this wild speeds, the speed of thought, heading in the right direction towards the correct realm space that you need to get to. And you're hearing from down below, from the center of the ship, this kind of scraping, bumping noise kind of comes to life beneath whatever is in below that circular floor covering.
Esther's going to take out her rifle and point it at the floor covering.
Yeah. Axel does the same thing. He pulls out his great sword after hearing that scraping sound.
Yeah, there's something down there.
And
Okay.
did I hear that?
You do, yes.
I mean, all right. I can just sort of. I think I let me take a look. I just extend
Can
my.
you-
I try to figure out sort of where the center of the ship is, and just try to extend my vision into the whatever space in the middle might be.
Okay, so down below, in this kind of like a middle part of the deck, you're seeing. It looks essentially like a junk room, full of bits of metal. Might be like a metal arm, a metal leg, very jaggedy, unrecognizable chunks of automatons and inner workings, cogs. It looks like a massive junk room, but the junk is now like moving, like, and the scraping noises is junk scraping on other junk. There's something underneath the junk that seems to be moving.
Yeah, she'll relay. She sort of relay that as full of junk and something is in there. Is it cluttered enough that I can't like move my senses like into the junk and see within?
Yeah, give it a try. Give me a
Right.
perception check.
Do that once I remember. Sheet perception. That's a 5.
It's a little weird, and the junk itself doesn't seem to be attached to the ship. So as much as you can get to the
Right.
walls or whatever, it's kind of obscuring your view. But you're unable to spot anything that stands out as non-junk, which seems to be moving it. Maybe because the cover of junk is too thick.
Right. All right. I can't tell what it is, but it's buried under. Do you guys want me to open that door? I think I can. I must be able to open the door.
You can.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this.
All
But
right.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Get in position. And once they say they're ready, I will just try to just use my mind to open the door.
Okay. The covering kind of spins up out of the way, and then at a certain point just slides aside, leaving a view of what is the holodeck. And you're looking down into a drop of some 30 feet to a room that looks full of metallic junk, is the only way to describe it from 30 feet up. Piles of mechanical parts completely covering the floor. You can see again what I mentioned, like some limbs, the kind of limbs familiar with or similar to what was his name, Mr. Blip, kind of like autognome parts they might be, and things are definitely moving down there. Yeah, you can hear the clinking and the scraping of the jagged bits of metal.
And it's lit. It's like a regular room in that sense.
It does have it is getting some type of glow. There's some type of texture to the wall, which is creating a luminous glow. So it's not pitch blackness.
Is that the whole ship is sort of like that kind of?
Yes.
Just the walls kind of sort of black light.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is there a sound? Can I turn on Pink Floyd? Did anyone?
I used to have a mixtape on my ship.
I don't really want to jump down there. If we can make it come up. Well, I can do this once a day.
Actually, before you do that, if it's a once a day thing, how far down is this deck to like the floor of that shaft, essentially?
30 feet.
30 feet. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna look at the other two and Axel and Ace and say, "All right, you open that up, and if I tell you to close it, you close it." And she's going to, okay, yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm gonna teleport down in there with my damage resistance and ideally be like not in the center of the room.
I think you can get an angle, like from kind of, but you're not going to be in the center, so you could teleport straight down. It does have to be to somewhere you see, essentially.
Let me check on mine actually. Yes, somewhere I can see.
Okay, so I think with the angle, you can probably, and rather than being like right in the middle, you could be on any of the squares around the circle of the holodeck, kind of teleporting like at an angle. You know what I mean?
Okay, I can work with that. Okay. Oh, nope, didn't want to do that.
I'll move you.
Let's see. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I will go.
So choose where you want to be.
Right over. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Okay. As Estria blinks in and out of existence, what's Ace, Axel's, and Carrie's reaction, if any? Or are you waiting to see what happens?
Watching very closely, ready to help if I need to.
Okay. Before anything happens, Estria's down there already. What does Estria do as soon as she lands amongst all of this junk? Immediately you can see this entire area is going to be difficult to walk around on. You're either going to have to walk very carefully and slowly so that you don't snag, cut, snare yourself on these bits of metal, or you risk hurting yourself if you move at a normal speed down here. You certainly wouldn't want to fall amongst this jagged mess. You would hurt yourself, and it doesn't look comfortable at all.
Okay.
And immediately, it's not immediately obvious what is. You can see basically 3 different parts around the room which are moving more than others, but you can't see exactly what is moving the metal yet.
Okay. These gaps on the sides here in between like those walls, are they like higher ground? Like over here kind of those things?
Those walls are they are kind of like, it seems like alien texture is the only way to describe it, and that's where the light's coming from. So it almost looks like glowing flesh, which seems to be the source of this black light, which is illuminating the interior of the ship. So you can only actually stand unless you're going to cling to the walls amongst the junk. Otherwise, you'll be climbing, hanging off the wall.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna go to the closest point that would be high ground for me, essentially. Like, not necessarily clinging to the walls, but like kind of like slanted up on the wall, like posted up, like, all right, come at me.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
So here essentially.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, and so the bonus action to teleport, you've moved.
Yeah.
And are you preparing an action? Are you?
Yes, I am going to ready an attack for whatever one of those things comes out first, or whatever coalesces first, or first bad guy.
The first
just
thing...
found the map. It's a holodeck. Is that a Star Trek pun? I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. Only 5 minutes behind.
I just got that.
The first change is a sound. It's a clicking sound. It's a sound that only perhaps Dr. Carey might recognize, depending on whether she has that ability given the body that she's in. Do you speak Thrycreen?
I think I may have, in fact, where would that be? Abilities, languages. Yeah, as long as you accept that I wrote down, I need one more language. Thry seems good? Question mark. If you're willing to call that.
Yes, I accept.
All right, then I'll take away the question mark.
That is good enough for me. You can hear mocking clicks. It's mockery, and it's laughing from one to another, rebounding about this underneath this junk. There is mocking praise in these clicks for the fools who brought a spelljamming helm onto the tyrant ship so that they can command the vessel once more once all of the fools are dead. And emerging from the junk are these little, almost Thrycreen constructs, Thrycreen-looking insectoid constructs, clockwork constructs, and along their limbs, instead of like clicky hands or whatever, they have like rotating swords instead. And that...
Oh, that's a thing.
And that, my friends, is where we will leave things.
Ooh.
Excellent. I love me some saw spider crabs.
I think it's gnarly.
All right. So thank you to everyone who joined us. And we will be sneaking in one more session next Thursday before Christmas. And if you'd like to come and be with us as we have our last session before the holidays, where we're going to take a break, then we'd love to have you aboard once again. So, guys, thank you very much for your wonderful contributions, and I'll see you next week.
All right.
Thank
you.
See ya.
Thank you.
Gonna be super dope.
Can't wait.